If you want to be able to buy the most expensive players and open the best packs in FC25, go to u7buy.com to buy your EA FC25 coins. It's cheaper than buying FC points and just as reliable. With their already amazing prices, you can get an extra 6% using promo code Inception at checkout. Okay guys, so just got done eating some food skis. So I don't have water, so I'm definitely gonna get some more water after I do this video because we still gotta do talking for 3 more evolutions. So the next evolution that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be Rapid Wing Mastery, right? So Rapid Wing Mastery is going to be... Can't go down anymore? Oh, there we go. Right there. We got there. We got there. Okay, so let's take a look at what you actually get from this one. Oh, yeah, Rapid on the card. That's actually not bad. Okay, so Pace, Stamina, Rapid, and then you get the Winger Plus. Okay. Some people like the Winger Plus. I'm personally like not too crazy about it, but again, with this one, there are some chain evolutions that you could potentially do to get some really, really sick cards. But we are going to be taking a look at some of the options that you could work with right now as well, depending on who you ended up choosing, right? So this one, Rapid Wing Mastery, let's take a look at some of the options that you do have from this one, right? So the first and foremost is going to be João Felix, right? So João Felix, I could totally see people having this card chilling in their squad because of the previous evolutions. A lot of people actually did use the Ultimate Edition evolution on him. With the new improvements that he gets, it does put him in a pretty nice area when it comes to having more pace, more physicality, right, from the chain evolution. On a Hunter chemistry style, the card is going to be working with significantly better pace, right? He's at a 99-96 now, which is great. He's a person who has very good shooting capabilities, 5-star, 4-star capabilities. Rolls-wise, he mostly has his rolls in the left wing position, which is not necessarily the greatest, because, you know, he's a right-footed player, and you're using a right-footed player on the left-hand side, left wing. It's not as ideal, but you could totally still work with it because, one, he has the skill moves, and 2, he has the Power Shot Plus. And as you guys know, Power Shot Plus right now is really, really crazy to work with, right? So whether that's for regular strikes, whether that's for the glitch shots that you could take, they're both going to come off very nicely, right? Passing on the card is going to be in a solid area, decent dribbling stats. And the reason why I'm saying decent is because you're mostly going to be using his skill moves to kind of open up the space for yourself, right? Play styles, he has a lot of dribbling stuff to work with. He's got the Power Shot Plus, as we mentioned earlier, so some very interesting things when it comes to João Felix. Next up, we have the Chiesa card. So Chiesa is interesting because a lot of people honestly still use this card for a little bit, right? He's still 48.5k on the market, but now you could improve that Chiesa card with this free evolution that improves the physicality of this card. So by the looks of it, it's not super drastic in comparison, right? I mean, if we do this and then we do this and we do this, it's mainly in the stamina department, so it's pretty funny in that sense, right? So that's the improvements for that, I guess, unless I'm looking at it incorrectly, because sometimes Footbin is a little bit weird when it comes to stuff like that, right? So let's go here, evolutions. Yeah, so that's pretty much all you can do on him. That's funny. Okay. So let's keep going here, right? So Sobosloy gets one, a pace and physical improvement, right? This is from the Inform version. The Inform version's already a 4-star, 4-star. Sobosloy, I mean, he's pretty sloppy in game, I will say, right? He is pretty sloppy. It's a weird one to pick. I mean, obviously, if you're like a Liverpool fan, you can kind of go down this direction. Shadow chemistry style, maybe in the future he gets an evolution that improves his defending to be a little bit better, just so that you can actually use him in that center mid position, which I think would be really important if you're actually looking to use this card in your team. But honestly, roles wise, not a lot of crazy stuff to work with. Winger plus, half winger, winger for the different roles. Lamine Yamal also gets an improvement. This is from the Inform version. I believe the rare gold also has the chain on it as well. I think it was not the chain, but or maybe it wasn't. Maybe I was thinking about somebody else. But yeah, Lamine Yamal gets a nice improvements from this as well. He gets the pace boost, he gets the physical boost. So this is more so, in my opinion, if you were to have like the first owner version of Lamine Yamal in your team, right? If you have the first owner version and you're like, hey, you know, I could put this towards a free evolution to improve him in the physical and pace department, you could totally do that, right? Hunter chemistry style gives him a nice little pace boost. The shooting boost is in a better area. He's still kind of low in some other areas. Like there was the other evolution that I would say would be the better choice, right? The card is a little bit better formatted for the current meta of the game. He has the playstyle plus, or not playstyle, but the roll plus plus in the right mid position for the inside forward. So you would force more attacking AI situations out of the card, which I think would be more interesting for people as well, right? So just food for thought when it comes to that. Jolington, this one's an interesting one because I do remember people looking into the box-to-box evolution at first. He was the highest trending card for it, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure he was the highest trending card. This card mainly gets the pace boost, right? But the pace boost is obviously still very nice to work with. I think with a card like this, he has the center mid position, he has the box-to-box, but I wouldn't really recommend using a card like this as a box-to-box because of the way that his dribbling is. Like, if you're using a card that's a box-to-box, it has to be someone like an Alex Garcia or something, right? This card, in my opinion, just looks more defensive, right? Physical presence, giving you defensive capabilities. He has bruiser, he has intercept. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any of the roles to play specifically in that sort of area. Like, if he was a CDM holding plus or something, that'd be really cool. But as I always mention, you don't know what they're going to do in the future when it comes to evolutions. You can do this right now, and then in the future, you could be working with a very solid CDM card that gets evolved to a point that looks really good. Pedro Gonçalves is a card that looks like an interesting choice, to be honest. I think the main reason why this card would be interesting is because he gives you the link to Gyökeres, right? Pedro Gonçalves would be a card that if they were to release a market version of him, I think people would actually try to get him because it would be an easier link if you did the evolution on Francisco Moura and then you get Pedro Gonçalves and then you get Gyökeres, who is a great striker in the game, even at his cheap price range. The only reason why people don't use him, again, I always mention this to people, is because of the chemistry links with the card. So Pedro Gonçalves on this card gets improved to a point where he looks like he could be a little bit more usable. I think with the dribbling stats, he does seem to be a little bit on the lower side with the mid 80s. It's usable for sure, but you would have to hope for like a further evolution down the line. Maybe I would probably wait for him to get a promo card. I think a promo card for Pedro Gonçalves would be a really, really big deal because he has a lot of really good position changes, which I think would be incredibly helpful for that card, right? So that's why he's trending. There's, you know, hopes for the future. Gyökeres being a card, a lot of stuff to work with there, right? We have this card here, Udine, who does get an upgrade if you did a bunch of these cards. We don't look into these cards as much because this will be for a very select few of people who, you know, still have some of these evolutions and stuff, right? But a nice improvement on this card. Hunter chemistry style puts him in a very solid spot. Key things to mention: he's a left-footed player for the left wing position, cam position. He is 4-star left-footed for the right-hand side for the right mid plus plus as well as the right wing. So you have to take that into consideration. Some people prefer to work with the strong foot on the strong side, so it just depends on the person, right? Trossard gets an upgrade from the rare gold card as well. Not bad as well because of the pace boosts. Generally speaking, when it comes to everything else, the card has a lot of potential to work with, right? Because with Trossard, you do have a card that has a 5-star weak foot, 4-star skills. Hunter chemistry style would put him in a really good area so that in the future, if he gets more evolutions, he gets that dribbling boost, he gets that passing boost. The card has very good roles or position changes with striker, left mid, and the left wing because he has the 5-star weak foot, so he could totally be used on the left-hand side, especially if they ever decide to nerf Trivelas even further, right? Just depends on what they do. But the card is not poorly formatted for the potential evolutions in the future as well, right? This is the card that's trending in the game, the Mariona card. Cards like this are the ones that get really nice drastic improvements in the pace department because of her card initially being a left wing card that has 77 pace, which is far too low. Nep will probably look into a card like this because on this card with a Hunter chemistry style, being a female player, being 5'5", there's a lot of potential to work with, right? And in her case, you can use her as a striker as well. The roles that she's working with is mainly a false 9. And then you can use these ones like winger and wide playmaker for those ones as well. Could be interesting if you do want to work with that too, right? So that's why she's trending in the game. For the mean, this card looks like you could potentially be a nice card to work with in the future, especially if you did the chain evolutions for him. On a shadow chemistry style, he looks like he's kind of like really well formatted now to be able to use him in different sort of roles, right? Like this guy does play cam IRL for Barcelona from time to time as well. So, you know, Hunter chemistry style for him, sentimental value FC for the FC Barcelona fans, looking pretty cool with a card that has a 5-star weak foot as well. Rafinha is mainly in the physical department. We have a card here that probably has a crazy chain evolution, and that's what he actually is. So again, when you go into the sentimental route, this is where you start to get rewarded, right? If you actually choose the right evolution stuff to work with. In his case, this card is still technically available, I guess, because these are not expired, as a Liverpool player. And he looks pretty cool, actually. A lot of work to be done for this evolution, but looks really sick, right? Shadow chemistry style puts him in a very good spot for pace. Defending, his dribbling stats within a solid area. He has the incisive pass. You can go down the routes of making him a cam in your team as well. He's a 4-star player with the right foot. Cards like this are the definition of players that you should be doing your Evo on, right? Because these are guys that you just don't really see getting, you know, any sort of cards in the future. So the chain evolution on this is definitely a very, very cool thing to look at for sure. Sancho gets one, pace, shooting, and physical. Shooting is quite low. A card like this you would have to give a finisher chemistry style to, which would increase his shooting, increase his dribbling, but obviously not really usable as of right now. I think in the future, obviously, if they release like some sort of market cards, there's more potential to work with in that, right? Saad is another card here. This is from the Trailblazers. So the Trailblazers has 2 different evolutions you can currently choose from, but that's definitely going to be mainly sentimental. Caramo, Claudia Pina. Claudia Pina is an interesting one, eh? 5-star weak foot. Shadow striker for Cam. Again, mainly for like future endeavors, right? Savinho. I feel like Savinho will be a promo card at some point in the future for sure. Yeah, but this one, there's a lot of potential to work with as well because the pace is actually in a really nice area. So there's potential with you being able to give him, I would say, maybe like a Deadeye, you know, a Deadeye chemistry style. And then with this card in the future, with base card stats improved in the dribbling department, it would be really nice on that one too. There'll be a few other options like Rashford. Rashford's a good one too. Rashford obviously already has the Power Shot Plus. Honestly, the Power Shot Plus is like the main reason why you would use this card with the 5-star skills, right? So regardless of whatever you feel like his dribbling is like in game, but when you give this card the finisher and you get that power strike angle, it is very, very nice to work with. So you can't really go wrong with that. Some of these other cards we're skipping past, but obviously they could be really cool in the future. You never know. Mane gets a rapid wing as well. I think his other card looks a little bit better just because you get that shooting boost, but again, it is a paid evolution, so it kind of makes sense in that regard. Marmoush, who is the Bundesliga Player of the Month, mainly gets a physical improvement, right, from his Player of the Month card, so not really worth doing it for that sort of reason. Salma gets a nice improvement for people who have been doing her evolution. You have a better card to work with now. Her dribbling is still in a very strange spot. You would maybe give her like a finisher chemistry style if you still continue to do this evolution, but it just depends on where you're at. The main thing with this card is obviously the links with the other Barcelona female players because of the fact that she's Spanish, Barcelona, and that's what you would have to work with mostly for those sort of things. But yeah, a couple of different choices here. that you can go with. It's mostly going to be like sentimental, you know, as you have been improving your cards. There might be some chain evolutions that you should be definitely taking a look at from some of your sentimental ones, because if a card like this exists, who knows what can exist for you if you chose the right players and you did the right evolutions, right? So it's just one of those types of situations. But yeah, Liverpool fans will definitely be looking into this one if they actually want a card that is probably never going to get a promo card in the future. Let's be real. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today. I will catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. 2 more Evo videos.